Here's something I want you to notice. Picture two women of the same age and the same height, say 5'2", standing side by side. One of them looks small, kind of stuck low to the ground, almost lost inside her clothes. The other looks pulled together, tall, lifted, and you would never guess she is only 5'2". The difference between them is not the body, not the weight, not the length of the legs. The difference is how the clothes sit on them, where the lines fall, where the proportions begin, which zones are open and which are covered. And once you understand how these lines work, height stops being a limit. It simply becomes a number. Today on The Silver Wardrobe, we are going to talk about how a shorter woman with curves can dress after 50, with no heels, no tricks, no feeling that you are trying to stretch yourself out or hide. Just the opposite. We will dress so that every outfit makes you look slimmer and taller, while you still feel like yourself, not like a character from a fashion magazine. We will go through 6 principles of proportion that work on any short, curvy figure. Then we will put together 5 ready outfits for every day, for summer, for going out. And right at the end, I will show you 3 instant tricks that add up to 2 inches of height visually, without a single heel. You can use them literally tomorrow morning, without buying a thing. But first, let me explain why after 50 the topic of height and proportion becomes especially worth your attention. When we are 25 or 30, the body creates its own structure. A defined waist, firm tissue, everything holding in place. Clothes sit in a predictable way. After 50, the figure changes, and that is completely normal. The waist can become less defined, the tummy softer, the bust heavier, the hips sometimes a little wider, and height can even drop a touch, around half an inch every decade. And here is where so many shorter women make one key mistake. They start to hide. They reach for big, loose pieces, thinking that flowing fabric will cover the curves. But volume on a short figure does the opposite. It does not hide, it widens. And instead of looking slimmer, you get the feeling that the clothes are wearing you, rather than you wearing them. The right approach is not to hide the body and not to squeeze into it, but to build the lines so the eye travels top to bottom, not side to side. Vertical, that is what makes a short figure look taller. Horizontal, that is what makes it look wider. Everything we do today is about creating the first and avoiding the second. Let's go to the 6 principles. Principle 1. The waist point should always be visible. This is the single most important rule for a short, curvy figure. If the waist is hidden, the body turns into one solid rectangle, and that rectangle always looks wider and shorter than it really is. The waist does not have to be thin, it just has to be marked, even with a hint. How do you do it? A front tuck is the simplest and the most powerful move. Take the front of your blouse or your top and tuck it into your trousers or skirt. Not all the way around, just the front, loose, with no pulling. It instantly shows where the top ends and the bottom begins. A point appears, and from that point the legs start, and the legs look longer right away. The second way is a belt. Not a wide corset belt that cinches in and creates rolls, but a soft, medium-width belt in the tone of your bottom or a little darker. It rests over the blouse or dress and marks the horizon line. That line tells the eye, here is the center of the figure. Everything above is torso, everything below is legs. And the legs start to look longer. The third way is pieces with a built-in waistline. Wrap dresses, jackets with a soft nip at the waist, cardigans that end right at the hip line. They create shape with no extra effort. What to avoid? Long, straight, untucked pieces that end at mid-hip or lower. They hide the waist and turn the figure into a column. If you love a longer top, make sure it has side slits, so at least a hint of shape shows through. Principle 2. Where your waistband sits decides how long your legs look. That sounds like an exaggeration, but for shorter women, it is the literal truth. When the waist of your trousers or skirt sits high, at your natural waist or just above it, the legs start higher and look longer. When the waistband sits low on the hips, the legs start later and look shorter. The difference between a high rise and a low rise on a short figure is 2 or 3 inches of height, visually, with no heels, no platforms, nothing, just because of where the waistline falls. And a high rise solves one more thing. It gently supports the tummy. On a short, curvy figure, the tummy is often the zone you want to soften, and a high waistband does that with elegance. It creates a smooth, even line in front, and the tummy simply becomes part of a flowing silhouette instead of a separate feature. What exactly should you look for? Trousers and jeans with a rise of about 3 inches or more. Skirts that sit at your natural waist. If you shop online, look for the rise or waistband height in the description. Principle 3. The length of your pieces should not cut the figure at the widest spots. On a short, curvy figure, this rule is critical. Every horizontal cut, the hem of a blouse, the edge of a jacket, the bottom of a skirt, works like a line where the eye stops. And if that line falls across the widest part of your body, it widens you. Specifically, a blouse that ends right at the widest point of the hips widens the hips. A skirt that stops at the fullest part of the calf shortens the legs and makes them look heavier. A jacket that ends right at the hip line widens the hip area. So what do? Choose lengths that pass through the narrow spots. A blouse to the waist or just below, but not down to the widest point of the hips. A jacket either cropped at the waist or below the widest part of the hips, but never right across it. A skirt to the knee or just below, where the leg starts to taper. Trousers to the ankle, where the leg is at its slimmest, or full length down to the shoe. And here is a little secret. For shorter women, cropped jackets are a real treasure. A jacket that ends at the waist creates a short top block and a long bottom block. And a long bottom block reads as long legs. A cropped jacket plus a high-rise trouser is one of the most lengthening combinations there is for a shorter height. Principle 4. Verticals inside the clothes lengthen, horizontals widen. It sounds like a textbook, but in practice it is very concrete. Vertical lines are a row of buttons down a blouse, a V neckline, a long open cardigan, vertical seams, a center crease on trousers, a long scarf hanging straight down. All of that leads the eye top to bottom and stretches you up. Horizontal lines are a wide belt in a contrasting color, horizontal stripes in the fabric, large chest pockets, a wide collar from shoulder to shoulder, a hem that creates a sharp horizontal border. All of that leads the eye side to side and widens you. On a short, curvy figure, every horizontal costs you something. It takes away visual height, so you want to choose them on purpose. One horizontal is fine if it is in the right place. A belt at the waist is a good horizontal because it splits the figure at exactly the right point. 3 horizontals at once and your height disappears. The best friend of a shorter woman is the V neckline. It creates an arrow pointing down, which lengthens the neck, draws the upper body up, and slims the face. If your neck is short, and that often comes with a shorter height, a V neckline solves 2 things at once. It lengthens the neck and slims the top. Principle 5. Color works like an architect. On a short, curvy figure, color is not about pretty or not pretty, it is about construction. Dark color visually shrinks and steps back. Light color enlarges and steps forward. That is a basic rule of optics, and you can use it as a tool. If you want to lengthen the legs, go dark on the bottom. Dark trousers, a dark skirt, dark jeans. They create a receding zone that looks slimmer. If you want to draw attention up to the face and away from the hips, a lighter or more interesting top over a dark bottom. If you want maximum lengthening, go monochrome. One single shade from top to bottom removes all horizontal borders and turns the figure into a single vertical. The main mistake is a dark top and a light bottom when the hips are wide. That highlights exactly the zone you want to soften. Light trousers under a dark blouse pull the eye down to the lower half, and a dark top makes the head and shoulders look smaller. The proportions flip. The best scheme for a short, curvy figure is either monochrome in soft tones or a light top over a dark bottom. Just like that, light near the face, dark on the legs. It lights up the face, slims the lower half, and creates a feeling of length. Principle 6. The shoes finish the vertical. They do not break it. On a short figure, the shoes play an outsized role. Heavy, chunky sneakers, rough platforms, tall boots with a thick sole, shoes in a color that strongly contrasts with the trousers. All of that breaks the line of the leg at the foot and shortens you. So what works? Shoes with an elongated or pointed toe. They continue the line of the leg forward and lengthen you. Shoes in the tone of the trousers or the skin of the leg. They blend with the leg and create no border. An open instep. Sandals and mules that show the top of the foot add length visually because the eye cannot see where the leg ends. If you wear dark trousers, dark shoes. If light, shoes in a skin tone or a neutral. Bright contrasting shoes at a shorter height, never, unless you deliberately want to pull attention to your legs. And here is a little secret that few people mention. A small wedge of about 1.5 inches or a minimal hidden platform is not a heel. It is comfortable, stable, and it adds a few inches without that feeling of standing on stilts. Espadrilles with a soft wedge, loafers on a small platform, sneakers with a hidden platform. All of that is technically flat, but it works. Now, let's put together 5 specific outfits. I build each one on all 6 principles at the same time. The waist is visible, the rise is high, the lengths are right, the verticals are in place, the color is structured, the shoes continue the line. Outfit 1, City Casual. Dark navy straight jeans with a high rise, plus a soft cream blouse with a V neckline tucked at the front. A thin leather belt in the tone of the shoes. Shoes, beige loafers with a slightly elongated toe. A small, structured bag, nothing huge. Medium-length earrings. Everything works here. The dark bottom slims, the light top lights up the face, the V-neck lengthens, the tuck shows the waist, the high rise lengthens the legs, the loafers do not break the line. Outfit 2, Summer Elegant. A wrap dress to the knee in a muted sage shade, sleeve to the elbow. One single color from shoulder to knee, one vertical. The diagonal line of the wrap slims. Shoes, leather sandals on a small wedge in a neutral tone, a thin gold chain. No contrasting details, no horizontal lines. One smooth, lengthening shape. Outfit 3, for a walk or a trip. Dark gray knit trousers with a high rise, plus a white cotton tee fully tucked. Over it, a long, thin, open cardigan in the tone of the trousers. The cardigan creates 2 long vertical lines down the sides of the body. Shoes, white minimal sneakers on a hidden platform, a backpack or a crossbody bag. This outfit is as comfortable as house pants, but it looks pulled together and tall. Outfit 4, for going out or a celebration. Black straight trousers with a high rise, plus a blouse in a muted rose, in soft satin, tucked, with a gentle V-neck. A crop jacket in navy, ending at the waist. Shoes, black pumps with a low, stable heel, or black mules. Earrings that lengthen the neck, a clutch. Here the crop jacket creates a short top block, and the legs look endless. Outfit 5, the Monochrome Maximum. All soft beige. Trousers, top, and a light jacket or cardigan in one shade. Shoes in the same tone or a little darker. One gold accessory, a bracelet or earrings. No borders, no contrasts. Just one smooth, warm vertical from the crown of your head to the floor. This is the most lengthening of all 5 outfits. Monochrome literally erases height as a limit. And finally, 3 instant tricks you can use tomorrow without buying a thing. Trick 1. Move all the visual interest up high. Earrings, a pretty scarf at the neck, an interesting brooch, a bright collar. Anything that draws the eye to the face and shoulders. When the viewer's eye goes to your face, it does not measure your height. It sees your expression, your smile, your eyes, and height stays on the edge of perception. Trick 2. Open the neck. If you have turtlenecks, closed collars, blouses buttoned high, try swapping them tomorrow for a V neckline, or simply undo the top buttons. An open neck is an extra 2 or 3 inches that the eye adds to your height. The neck is the one part of the body that lengthens the silhouette upward, and to hide it is to take away your own visual height. Trick 3. Remove everything from the look that does not work for the vertical. A bulky scarf wound around the neck? It shortens you. A wide horizontal belt? It splits the figure in half in an unflattering proportion. A huge tote bag? It makes you look smaller next to it. Sometimes dressing well is not about adding something. It is about removing what is extra, leaving clean lines, a calm silhouette, and one point of attention. That is exactly how the women dress whose height you can never guess. Here is what I want you to take away from this. A shorter height is not a limit. It is a feature you can work with, the same way stylists work with any body type. Shorter women have a huge advantage. You can build proportions that look just right, because on a compact figure, every correct line gives a visible result. One V neckline, one high rise, one correct jacket length, and you see the difference right away. Not in a week, not in a month, right away in the mirror in the first 5 seconds. You do not need to become taller. You need to become more precise. More precise in lengths, more precise in lines, more precise in color. And once that precision becomes a habit, you stop thinking about height. You start thinking about style, and that is far more interesting. If this was useful for you, subscribe to the Silver Wardrobe. Here we keep talking about what really works, concretely, honestly, and with respect for you and your figure. And tell me in the comments, which of the 6 principles surprised you the most? Or maybe you have your own trick that helps you look taller. Share it. Your experience could be a discovery for someone who is just starting to understand proportion. Every comment is a contribution to a community of women who choose not to hide, but to dress beautifully.